Welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Michelle, the owner of adreamlife.com and your host here on Surviving Narcissistic Deception. So the question is, if the narcissist doesn't miss me, why does he or she come back after a certain amount of time with a whole new attitude? It sure feels like the narcissist missed me, and maybe this time they'll do better. I am going to give you my interpretation. Let's get into that discussion, because I'm going to tell you why the narcissist doesn't really miss you or me or anyone for that matter. Now, let's discuss, does the narcissist really miss you? A narcissistic person doesn't think this way or act this way. They're not defaulted in a way where they even appreciate you in the beginning. Remember, during the love bombing stage, whether it's a relationship, intimate relationship we're speaking about here, or an adult child parent, whoever the narcissist is, there are love bombing stages where this person was showing you their best self. They were giving you this false self, the image that they try to get you to believe that they are, but they're not really this person. But part of the disorder is that they have to even deceive themselves into believing that they're great people. And there was a time when they actually showed you this person, and when they were showing you this person, this is during a time when you may have given them a lot of compliments, you may have cooked for them, you may have bought them gifts, you may have stopped your day to attend to them when they called, you may have been overwhelmed. There are a lot of things that happen when people think that they're dealing with a real situation, when they believe that they're in a cipher where they're with someone who is compatible to them. But there wasn't any real compatibility. What was happening was the narcissist pulled you into their fantasy. The narcissist wasn't really getting to know you. The narcissist was getting to know what grade or kind of supply that you offered them during these interactions, because the narcissist is self-absorbed and needs you to self-validate them, because they don't necessarily do the work, as I've mentioned before, to be able to validate themselves, because they're insecure, broken people at the root of it, and they don't feel good enough, but they pretend that they do so that you can in turn kind of hold up that that ideal of themselves. And you did that. You proved that you were good supply. So when things started to go irie and the mask started to slip and the behavior of the narcissist started to crack, and you started to see and experience things that didn't line up with the person that you thought you knew, that first face that the narcissist gives you, eventually the true self comes out. The insecure, evil, controlling, do it my way or no way part started to come out, and then you started to make comments about it or try to figure out what was going on and have a conversation with the narcissist. This offended the narcissist, and so you started giving the narcissist narcissistic injuries, because the narcissist wants to be perfect. The narcissist needs you to believe that everything is perfect. The narcissist doesn't have any room for imperfections, or to have a conversation with you about those imperfections, or to try to correct them or fix them. How could they? They think that they're perfect. They've chosen to live in a false reality, and you better stay there. And if you don't stay in that false reality, all hell is going to break loose. And how it breaks loose is unique to each individual relationship and circumstance. What I will tell you is that last break, whatever it was, let's say the narcissist stayed away for 2 weeks, or the narcissist stayed away for a month. During that time, there were two very different things happening. The empathetic person is attached to the narcissist. And usually these kind of empathetic people who can be codependent, which is actually a dysfunction that needs to be corrected, and I discussed that in some of my other videos. A codependent doesn't know they're a codependent, not right off, right? We don't know that we're dependent on another person because we've been trained and conditioned most of our lives to be that way. whether through abuse at home or just the social conditioning that tells us that we need other people, we're entitled to these relationships, and we will have to do certain things to be able to maintain these relationships. But as you grow and you become spiritually aware, like watching this video, and you start putting in the work to figure out why you're dealing with so much pain and discord in your life, then you start to realize that codependency is a problem. However, let's talk about those two differences. So when the narcissist breaks up with you, or you break up with the narcissist, or let's say you slam the phone down, we're not talking for a while, right? This happens. Two different things are going on. During the days that you're away from the narcissist, you may be thinking about the narcissist personality, the things that you miss, the nice things that you did, and normal empathetic people are always trying to figure out ways to solve the problem. Even though you may be holding your ground, not calling the narcissist, or, deciding I'm not going to answer the phone, forget it, I'm tired of arguing, I'm tired of going through the same thing over and over again. So eventually the narcissist disappears. During that time, while you're thinking about the narcissist and maybe thinking of solutions and thinking about the aura and energy of the narcissist, even though it's false because you're not aware yet that it's false, the narcissist is not thinking the same thing. And this is where the problem happens. This is where people get tricked into believing that a narcissistic person is actually missing you when they finally do call and pretend that they've missed you. But I encourage you to really listen to the words and the language of the narcissist. It's usually focused around the self. Even in instances where they say you, they're saying, I miss the way you treated me. I miss your food, or something crazy like that. I miss the way you're able to do this. Because the narcissist is like a child. During the 4 weeks while you were truly missing the narcissist, hoping that this person returned, thinking of ways that you can improve the way you are to make this relationship or friendship or whatever work, the narcissist was not thinking about you. The narcissist was off. The narcissist decided to punish you. Most of the time, it's a punishment. And during that punishment, they're not necessarily thinking of you. They set you to the side. They set you to the side for not being smart enough to know that they're boss. For not understanding that you're supposed to uphold their false self, whatever happens. That you should always compliment them. You should always be on their side, no matter how bad they treat you, no matter how wrong they are. They're self-centered and self-righteous, so they don't have any empathy for you. They are void of empathy and conscience. So during the time that the narcissist wasn't calling you, exactly what your intuition probably was telling you was happening. The narcissist was with someone else. These toxic, dysfunctional, narcissistic people don't miss or think about the people that they hurt, the people that they bring tragedy and toxic into their lives. They're off inducing their toxicity in another situation. And then when that situation starts to fail them, they think of you. They think of you because you're in what we like to call their mind fuel, when they're not getting that direct grade A supply that they need. Possibly the fuel that they were getting somewhere else is starting to decline. Maybe they had a new grade A supply. Maybe they were off, in sports or doing something else that they think that they could get supply from, and they were actually getting that narcissistic supply. They weren't thinking about you. They weren't considering, what did I do, and, what can I do to make things better? And this is where this big error happens. When the empath and the narcissist meet back up again, the empathetic person is in a false state of mind. The assumptions are incorrect, because when you think that someone has reached out to you, when your default inclination is that they're reaching out to me because, now they finally realize my worth, right? You're going to respond that way. You're going to treat that person as if though that's what they were doing, even though they're not even telling you that. And someone who values you is not going to spend that freaking much time away from you in the first place. Because a person who truly values you understands your value and your worth and what you mean to them. So they're not going to risk losing you. They're going to put the effort in. Healthy people put the effort in until they realize that they can't, and they go their own separate ways. They don't come back and forth. This is the instability and the vicious cycle of a narcissist. And so meanwhile, you're thinking this person came back because they appreciate me. And you know what? The narcissist knew that you would think that. That's why the narcissist chose you in the first place, because of your values, because of your ethics, because of your tendency to play fair, because you think of yourself when you think of others. You're self-reflective. This is a characteristic that the narcissist doesn't have. The narcissist knows that you have them. That's why they target you, because they know that when they screw up and come back, that you will more than likely give them the chance that you want it for yourself. You start to project. That's a whole nother video, and I'm going to be talking about that soon, but I'll attach a video here. I do think I discussed it in my cognitive dissonance video. Projection. You start to project. You start to take what you want and your desires and what you think you would want for yourself, and assuming that the narcissist also wants it. And this is how you get tricked and suckered back into the relationship. The narcissist doesn't really miss you, I, or anyone. Narcissists only return because they ran low of supply. Well, they return for other reasons too. I'll discuss that in another video. But one of the main reasons is, but all the time, it's a self-enforced reasons. They need to regulate their emotions. They can't do it on their own. They call you to regulate their emotions. They need you to make them feel like they still matter. And once you do that, they may come back, or they may just go, good, she's still there, he's still there, let me go finish doing what I was doing. It's validation. This is why sometimes they call, and as quick as they called and apologize, they're back at it again, because there's no true empathy, conscience, and missing you in the equation at all. Don't be fooled, don't be tricked by a narcissist that returns over and over again. It's just a manipulative tactic to either make sure you're still where they need you to be in case they need you. It's like checking the gas in the car. We are so objectified with narcissists. For them, it's just like putting the key in the door and checking, making sure your furniture is still there, because you're living in another state right now. You may return, you may not return, and that's how you got to look at it. Protect yourself. No contact. Watch my no contact video. Goes a little deeper. So if you like this video, prove it, like I say, by giving me a thumbs up and pressing like. If you know somebody who may be able to benefit from this video, who is going back and forth and tries to convince themselves through cognitive dissonance that this person misses them because it's their child, or it's their kid's father, or if it's their parent, maybe this video will have enough of interpretation and description to help them with a little more clarity, so they can get on the process of healing and being stronger and protecting themselves from these back and forth invasions of the narcissist. If you subscribe to my channel, thank you, I appreciate you. And if you have not yet subscribed, I encourage you to hit the bell notification, subscribe, so you don't ever miss any notifications for my videos and audios. Love and light.